Hi.
We don't have to do the high thing. Are we doing the high thing or not?
I don't know.
Actually, no, you're right. We should explain what
Well, we
again.
have to tee up like what the video's about.
Tee up the premise. Okay. So all right,
Yeah.
so we said last when we were talking about this, we said it was going to be like lumps of coal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which was a good way to couch this because I
Yeah.
think this video's going out Christmas week.
Yeah.
So
But
in essence,
the premise is movies like that are like pretty good, or like movies that seem like they wouldn't be good, but there's like a little gem in there.
see, I'm not disagreeing with your view
Okay.
of it, but the way I saw it was these are probably not very good, but we like them.
Okay, I was gonna say because I was thinking this morning about like what we would call this. I'm like, what more like stocking stuffers? Like it's like they're not a real present. They're not like a big thing that you unwrap, but they're like little things you can like kind of like look and find if you're looking hard enough. But I like your thing too, so we'll go with that. So lumps of
Yeah.
coal, things that are movies that are not maybe great, but that we enjoy for whatever reason.
Right. Yeah. So Rob and I each picked one 2021 release to highlight as our choice lump of coal of the year. I had a few like runners up that I thought about doing spotlight showcase on for this episode, but I found one that was like the perfect one. So
Yes.
um, my runners up, Tom Clancy's Without Remorse, which I was the only one who was excited for and the only one who probably watched and definitely the only one who enjoyed. And then also Cry Macho, which is just like, Clinton diners, what's not to like, and
Yeah.
just being like, I don't know, he always just like falls into like widows. You know what I'm talking
Literally falls into it.
about? Like whenever he's in these movies, he's always just like, I'm just, I'm basically like a bag of sawdust now
Yeah.
more than a man. And like I have no like way of having personal relationships. And then like he always finds like lonely widow who's 30 years his junior,
Yeah.
but like finds him irresistible. And then
And
yeah.
it's he's like chasing that, like even the Unforgiven thing, where it's like that character is so sort of remorseful over the loss of his wife. Like she cured me of my wickedness. Like he's like just roaming the countryside looking for another one to cure him of his bag of sawdust wickedness or something. Like it's just it should make me back into a man again.
I
Crap.
just I think I liked Cry Macho because it's like I'm so aware that there's only maybe 10 years max of this type of movie left. And I don't know. I think maybe Tom Hanks could take up the mantle because he's sort of making the Barcalounger dad movies, but
It's
it's not the same. And then the other one was Old, which I've been meaning to rewatch. I'll probably wait till next Scary Movie Month, but it's the type of movie where I watched it, I'm just like, this does not work, but like there's something there that will keep me going back to it because it's interestingly off. But my pick for my lump of coal 2021, which maybe will find its way in my honorable mentions list, is Boogie, directed, I think written and co-starring Eddie Huang, who was best known for being one of the creative voices on the ABC show Fresh Off the Boats with Randall Park and Constance Wu. And this movie feels like something that's been in his brain for a long time, maybe since like Jeremy Lin had like a stretch of 5 good basketball games for the New York Knicks in like 2011 or 2012 or whenever it was. But it's all about this character named Boogie. His real name's Alfred, but he's an Asian basketball player. He's one of the top 3 high school basketball players in New York. And he can't get a full scholarship because he's got a hot temper. And then we meet his family, and his family is like his dad's like this low rent criminal but supportive, and his mom is like an emotional terrorist. And like he's trying to like this guy is trying to recruit him to play basketball in the CBA, which is like the Chinese version of the NBA. But Boogie wants like a full ride, but like all he can get are walk on spots on the team. And the reason why I like Boogie is because like it's the wish upon version of He Got Game. And there's like scenes where he's sitting in a class and like the English teacher, the AP English teacher is just like writes the catcher on the in the rye on the chalkboard, and he's like turns to the class and he's like, all of you, you could say, are in your own origin story right now. And then like later, Boogie's just like, Holden Caulfield doesn't know my life, and it's like this big like thing. Taylor Page from Zola is the romantic lead, and she's great. She's one of my favorite new discoveries of the
He's
year.
awesome.
But they've got some really funny lines back and forth. Like there's like this heart to heart that they're having about like how messed up their families are. And then she just kind of ends the scene because she's just like, I gotta pee. And then the scene like ends and then they go to another one. There's like this whole other sequence where um Boogie is like complaining about beef and broccoli. He's like using it as this analogy. And like in the scene, you can tell like nobody knows what they're talking about because he's just like, I'm tired of being reduced to beef and broccoli. And then she's just like, what are you talking about? And he's just like, Italians, they would never put together beef and broccoli. And the Greeks, they would never put together beef and broccoli. But the Asians, would. And then she goes, but everybody likes beef and broccoli, so what's the problem? And he's like, nothing, there's nothing wrong with beef and broccoli, it sustained my family and like our heritage for thousands of years. And then there's like this beat and she just goes, I want you to fight for yourself as much as you fight for being Chinese. And I'm like, what is this? I'm like, are we missing pages? Like, what is this? And there's like edits where like him and his friend are studying Catcher in the Rye, and like his friend goes, hey, we gotta pay attention to this book, I gotta pass this class. And then it's like 30 seconds later and it's the same shot of him being like, I gotta pass this class. And I'm just like, did they not know? Like, is this their first editing job? It's like weird shit like this. There's fortune tellers. There's this guy named Monk, who's like supposedly the top like basketball player in New York, high school player. And like Boogie can't get onto like a college team except for with a scholarship. But then his dad is just like, you beat Monk, then we're going to the NBA. I'm like, that's not how any of this works. Like, and every time they show basketball scenes, it's like they're playing half court and all they're doing are layups, and it looks like there's no defense whatsoever. Yeah. I'm like, clearly you'd be the best high school player in New York if they part the Red Sea to get you to the basket. It's just, you don't see a movie that's kind of this quirky and sort of for no one.
I'm looking up where to watch it, and it is available on HBO Max. So anybody,
it's 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a fast watch. It's really, really weird. What is your pick, Rob?
My pick this year is a little less obscure, but I'm going with Venom: Let There Be Carnage.
Okay.
A movie that I saw late in the game, in making lists and trying to catch up with. Where you do one of those late year Redbox purges where you go and you get whatever the new Costner DTV movie is, and you get whatever blockbuster you missed, and you get whatever Bruce Willis movie is out, and you do a little day. I think it's the best romantic comedy of the year. Like, it's like one of those things. Like, it's one of those things where a movie, like you put this on the business list as a movie from 2007.
Yeah.
Which totally fits for me, because at least in 2007, which is pre-Iron Man, there was a superhero movies didn't have a mandate to all be the same. And so there was that thing where a movie could lean into its character and be a little odd. And so I don't know that I did go back and rewatch the first Venom, because I like this one a lot. I remember liking the first one, but kind of, and liking that it was leaning into its weirdness and stuff. But I'd have to rewatch it before I can really compare the two. But this one, just like from the beginning, just gets you with the rhythm, like with his completely Tom Hardy's completely just like unhinged, like going for it performance, you know what I mean? And the back and forth volleys between him and Venom and all that. And it so leans into its ridiculousness. I mean, I'm sitting there laughing. And it's just got a personality that superhero movies don't have. I know we say that a lot now, and I know we complain about Marvel being sanitized. And as we're speaking right now, Spider-Man is, I think, destroying box offices. Like, it's literally melting movie theaters. There's people.
It's destroying the film industry too. That's great.
There's people being like kicked out of their Nightmare Alley screenings because we need more room for Spider-Man. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that the movie had basically just the guts to be entertaining and weird and fun. And Tom Hardy talking about how he wants to be in the MCU and stuff. And I'm like, no, like just be weird.
Yeah, I saw the right before Scary Movie Month because it was supposed to open like October 1st, but then they had like Thursday, September 30th showing. So I was like, I'm gonna fit this in before I go all in on horror movies. And I remember watching it and being like, I wasn't a big fan of the original, but I like Tom Hardy in the original. And then I kind of felt the same way through most of the second one. But then by the end, it like really wore me down where I was just like, this is so weird. Like I enjoy how out there this is, and like it just marches to its own drummer and everything like that. And like it helped that I was watching it in IMAX and it was as loud as like a heavy metal concert.
Yes.
And that made it context for me because I'm just like, oh, this is like this is like how you tell your friends you don't like, Disturbed or Slipknot, but then you're just like, if you hear the right Slipknot song, you're just like, there's nothing better than Slipknot.
And Woody Harrelson is always like, you can always count on him to ham it up and stuff like that, and there's nothing wrong with him. But I have to imagine like he's doing his scenes and doing his sort of classical kind of out there weird performance. I imagine him sitting at the screening and watching it and seeing just what Hardy did with it and going like, I could have gone weirder. I could have gone weirder with this.
See, I think that Harrelson benefits from being paired with Naomi Harris because like it turns the whole thing into like this awkward double date. One thing I also thought, and maybe it's just because it was the scene where Michelle Williams starts like flirting with Venom.
Another scene where I'm just like cackling. Like it's just like, this is great.
And I was thinking the whole time, I'm just like, oh, finally somebody let her like have fun with this. Like she's not just sort of the Barbie doll that like has to play it straight. Like she's in on the joke now, and like then that kind of informed the rest of the movie with her performance for me, where I was just like, everybody is just, it's like, yeah, if we're gonna do like a paycheck movie, let's do the dumbest paycheck movie and like really kind of just take advantage of how much fun this can be. Do you think this is the movie that perfected being a Sony movie? Where it's not like Sony in a bad way, but it's like, this is what the good version of like the Sony formula could be.
Yes, I was gonna say because like Sony's got a Sony is like such is a criticism from us usually because it's usually just so bad and so overstuffed and product placement and just like it's focus groups to death and all that. Yeah, this one is definitely. I try to be hard pressed to think of better, kind of more fun Sony movies that I've seen in a while. I think this is a good Sony movie.
Okay, so next time we will be back with a spoiler review of a movie that I know you and I are most anticipating this month, which is The Matrix Resurrection. So join us next time for that. And until next time.
Until next time.
Hey, join us.
Until next time.
Kiss your girlfriend and say it was from me. That's good on you in New Mutants.
It's good on me?
No, I said good on you.
Like I thought you said it's good on you. Like, yeah, good on you, bloke. You went to like